Well, there you go. Thanks for that, Homer. That's more look at the show floor of E3 2009. And right now, I'm joined by more Ubisoft folks. My friend Jason Vandenberg here, and Roman will be playing Red Steel 2. Looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with the remote. Let's take a look at that, and I'll talk to Jason while we work out the technical difficulties. Red Steel 2, Jason, a sequel, of course, but as we were saying right before we began here, there's some thematic elements that are the same, but this is an entirely new story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a reboot of the series. We've got a new location, we got a new hero. We really wanted to keep the stuff that worked the best for Red Steel 1, you know, and we thought that was the katana, you know, and the gun, the sword and gun gameplay. That I think was the thing that gamers were most excited about, and certainly we were. Also, that Asian feel works really well, right? That sort of that Asian influence. So we took those things, and then we wanted to add something cool to it. We did some thinking about our hero, and we thought, you know, if the katana represents Asia, right, and ninjas and that kind of thing, we're like, well, okay, then what does the gun represent? You know, what's the archetype of the gun? It didn't take us very long to get to Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood and the spaghetti western, and right, big fan. Hello, hero with no name, cool. And so we decided to sort of take those two ideas and sort of put them together in a mashup in a modern setting. It's still now, but it's sort of an alternate version of now where things are cooler.
Yeah, well, when you put together samurai swords and cowboys, that's like a thematic element that I bet, if not the entire team, then the art team probably went nuts about, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't have to push very hard.
Yeah, no,
yeah, to
sure,
ask them to work on that. Yeah. And we've gotten great response from the fans too.
Right.
There's been some of the comments have been just fantastic. People are like, dude, cool.
All right, so let's talk about the story. I think we're getting a little bit closer to show the game, but tell me about the story in the game. Who do you play as?
You're playing as the swordsman.
Okay.
The hero with no name. He's a member of a clan of protectors. So I don't know if you've seen the images on the web, but he's got this very stylish coat, and he's a gunslinging samurai. He's been trained in the ways of this warrior. His clan has been protecting this area, and when we start the game, he's come back from a journey to find his city in flames, and someone has killed all of his clan.
Right.
He's the last of his kind now, and so he's going to set out to find out who did it, and quite possibly take some revenge on those guys.
I hope so.
I think that might be how it works out.
All right, so
when we start the game, this is seeing our opening sequence here. You're kind of waking up from a daze. He's had a bad encounter, and we kind of want to throw you right into the experience. He's trying to kill the last protector. We're gonna take you on a little ride here.
Yeah, what's interesting is that this is cowboys, but it's not Old West. You got motorcycles, you got like modern technology.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. I always say when we look at that concept art and our character, I always say, you know, he's got a cell phone on underneath that coat.
Right,
you know?
right.
He's like, just a second, I gotta text somebody. Hold on.
My God, he's being dragged alive. Oh my God, pretty sweet.
He's having a bad day.
Yes,
really,
I would,
you know,
I would say.
It's been. He's had better times.
So this is obviously a scripted sequence, but do you have control over where you look? Or
yes, indeed. You can see he's got the reticle on there, and you can look sort of left and right, and you have some control. We love the our cinematics team is actually pretty spectacular, and we want to create more sort of QTE moments that let you do some more interactive stuff. We love that. Really want to immerse you in that opening space. Really want to just hit you in the face with the gameplay in the first few moments of the game.
About to stand up. No,
we're trying to also make it clear that these are bad men.
Right.
So you see his ropes are on fire there, manages to break free. And the lesson there for the bad guys is take the gun away from the hero.
Yeah.
don't leave it in the fuck. Of course the gun, of course the bike explodes, right? Of course, just add insult.
It wouldn't be a good game if things weren't exploding.
Exactly.
All right, so
we're gonna see our hero here, and then we'll drop right into gameplay. This is the hero's gun.
Yeah.
Each of his weapons are sort of marquee weapons. Yeah, they're meaningful, and they'll come into the story as you go. Of course, you can upgrade them and gain more versions. So here's our guy. When we first saw the concept art for this character, it didn't take me very long to go, dude, we're done. Right. That's fantastic. Hero shot.
Oh no, he lived.
Right. So this is. So that's the boss of the jackals. Jackals are these. This is sort of samurai motorcycle gang. That's sort of your first line of enemies in the game. There'll be other groups that you come across. These are the first guys you come across. That guy is going to chase you through the rest of the level, and ultimately you'll be fighting him at the end. So now we're right in the game. You start out by picking up your gun. And we've spent a lot of time working on the controls. The Wii Motionplus helps us out, but also we've just spent a lot of time learning what really works with the Wii, looking at other games, looking at what functions and what doesn't, and we're really hopeful. Actually, the gamers will be oh, got the censor bar trouble there. Right as we start talking about it, of course, as soon as we start talking about the controls, it just goes crazy.
The censor bar with the lights is
yeah, it's not so great. It's not so great. There we go.
Let's talk about Wii Motionplus.
Let's talk about
you guys basically built this game for Wii Motionplus, it seems like.
Absolutely. No, it's required. We're going to be bundled with the Wii Motionplus on ship, and we found that that the sword gameplay, which we'll show you in a minute, really doesn't work without the Wii Motionplus. But even in steering, there's some cool stuff we can do. We know where you're pointing the Wiimote even when you're not pointing at the screen, and so when Roman turns the Wiimote away from the edge of the screen, you still have full control of your character while you're pointing away. So there's no loss. You don't get that dead stop that you get in other first-person games. And then an increase in fidelity, etc. That sort of stuff. It's very cool. All right.
Here's a confrontation.
So you start out again with this sequence. We're training you. This is the beginning of the game. We're training you on how to move with the Wii, how to shoot. You just pull the B button to shoot, aim, and fire.
Easy.
Yeah, and you can see our character, he fires with the hammer back, right? He does the Western style, Western style fire. This is an example of a melee character, so he's a lot more agile. That's a shooter. They all have. We want to call on the player to use different techniques for different enemies. Once he gets to the sword, then we'll. All right, there it is in the background there. All right, now the main event. Let's do it. All right, so first we'll show you some replication, okay? So we'll go lock up on the bamboo, because what's a sword game without cutting bamboo, right? You just move the Wii like a sword. You just swing the damn thing, right? Like, like that. But you can see too, as he moves it around, the position of the sword is mapped 1-to-1 in game. It's pretty cool. You can turn the blade too, right? You can sort of look at each side. He's in sort of parry mode right there, right? And that the position of the sword will matter in parry mode. We'll show you that later on in combat.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, it seems that that kind of fidelity means that you can have more difficult sword fights, more difficult enemies. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, it lets us just focus our gameplay around melee combat and sort of that and different kinds of engagements. It also lets us do this cool thing where we can measure the strength of the swing. We know how hard you're swinging the Wii. So if he just uses a quick slash like that, those are light slashes.
Right.
But if he swings it harder, then you see he gets more impact, right? And you do more damage that way. We'll show you an example of an enemy later on where you have to use a harder attack to be able to get through his armor.
I see.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is it something like it's tempered by the fact that if you do hard swings, they take longer or it tires you out or something like that?
Yeah.
Is there a reason not to swing hard?
There's a natural balance in there, but that's really part of the experience of sword fighting, right? Usually it's a good idea. There will be characters in the game though that the light slash will be more of a distraction, they'll be more useful. And we're experimenting with different mechanics to make each one of those pieces functional, right? But really the core experience that we were looking for with this game, we believe that hitting things is fun, just like whack, right? That's sort of bam, right? Yeah. I want to pay that off. That's the core. That's sort of the core thing. So the lighter slashes are important. You can use them as a taunt, right? And that sort of thing. But it's not good sword play either. It just kind of. It's not a fencing game. No, it's not. No.
So in terms of balance between the sword and the gun, are you guys trying to? Do you want the player to think sword first and gun second, or does it depend?
No, it depends on who you're fighting. Okay. Right? We really want you to master both. Okay. The game is because the needs of sword fighting and combat, the game's going to be a little bit closer than a lot of shooters that you're used to playing. Right. But we also create enemies that call on you to go ahead and use your weapons out there. That shooter that you saw, if you get too close to him, he'll pistol whip you and knock you back.
Right.
Yeah. So that kind of mechanic creates a nice balance.
So this guy looks looks a little bit more serious.
He's wearing heavy armor, and you got to peel it off of him before you can get to him. But once you knock the armor off of him, then he's vulnerable to the gun.
Okay.
And also, his armor makes him invulnerable to the gun, which may or may not be completely realistic, but you know, we like it in game.
Now I have to ask, having seen the demo during the Ubisoft and seeing this now, yeah, that was cool. Are we gonna have blood in this game?
No blood. It's a teen title.
Okay.
And you know, it's funny. I mean, the question comes up constantly, and I'm totally with you, man. I'm not. It's not a philosophical argument.
Right.
That said, for what we're doing, what I've found is that when you put that kind of violence in a game, right, that kind of gore and that decapitations and that sort of thing, the game can become just about that. Like that's all that people want to talk about. That's not what we're offering, right? That's just not what this game is about. This game is about really giving you the experience of being a powerful sword fighter for the first time. Also, we wanted to do a hero story. We wanted to do a classic, you know, sort of a good guy, bad guy tale, right? That really plays that out well. And it's tough for me to believe that a hero is a good guy when he's slicing off people's hands and cutting off their right, and like, oh, please kill me. It doesn't really read as hero to me, right? So for a lot of reasons, it just wasn't the best choice for us.
So, mind if we take some reader questions?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
That's what we're here for, man.
Absolutely. Well, Daniel Wang from, you know what, I just lost his question. I'm going to try to get back to it. 1 second. Daniel Wang from San Jose wants to know, is there a cover system when using gunplay?
So our cover system is necessarily simpler because it's going to. We want to invite you to go and use melee attacks, but we will have shooting only setups where you'll have enemies that are using cover on the far side of a gap or whatever, and that kind of that sort of a setup because we do want to pay off the shooter gameplay.
Right.
And you'll have other weapons as well, so we want to make that include a variety of experiences in that. So,
are we talking rail sequences? Or?
No.
Okay.
In game,
okay.
absolutely,
Great.
always in game.
Jake Chabot from Auburn, Maine wants to know if there's anything you can tell us about upgrading your weapon. You mentioned it before, but can you tell us details?
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen as we're going through, but as Roman's been destroying objects and sort of completing his missions, he's collecting cash up in the corner there. We're going to show you more about this in the coming months, but the basic idea is that there's going to be sort of hideouts where the good guys are, and there you're going to be able to get upgrades for your various powers and get buff up your weapons and improve, and there will be a whole upgrade system that's in place. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We like upgrades.
Yeah, absolutely.
They make the game cooler.
Absolutely. Let's see. Fabio Matalana from Lima, I'm assuming that's Peru,
yes.
Wants to know, well, actually I'm not going to ask that question because it makes no sense. Sorry, Fabio.
No.
Someone had a good question though. Oh, I know this game ships with Wii Motionplus.
Yes.
If you pop it out, can you still play it?
Nope. You need to have the Wii Motionplus in there to play it. Yeah. It really doesn't, that first-person sword fighting experience just isn't there without it. But we've found.
Right.
Maybe someone else will prove us wrong in that. I'm looking forward to it. But
yeah. Julian Durst from again from Westfield, New Jersey, wants to know, how do you do the parry?
You press A.
Okay.
So to go into parry mode, you press A, and then you hold the Wiimote vertically or horizontally to block a vertical or horizontal attack. So you hold your Wiimote this way to block a vertical attack. You hold your Wiimote this way to block a horizontal attack.
And it's nice because those guys are kind of telegraphing what
they'll
they're
telegraph,
doing, right?
exactly. We've got any basic attack that you can do, you can parry, but when they get that red glow behind them, that's called a directional attack. That means they're saying, hey, I'm coming this way, and you got to do that, you got to make that block, because those attacks are a lot harder to dodge. You can also dodge away. You can see Roman's using a lot of the dodge mechanics. He's shifting around pretty quickly. If you press A, tap A, and move with the left stick, you move around the field pretty easily, and that lets you dodge, but those red attacks are a lot harder to dodge.
So as you're progressing through the game and it's presumably getting more difficult, is one of the aspects of that difficulty those telegraphing moves becoming shorter or quicker? How are you ramping up difficulty?
Yeah, it's different enemies. Different enemies will give you more or less time with that. The telegraph time will decrease. Also, later enemies will be able to parry your blows a lot more effectively.
Okay.
They're going to be quicker. They're going to do combos, and I mean, it's very possible that there'll be ninjas, and you know how dangerous ninjas are.
God, every night, every day, I know how dangerous they are.
Jump into your, I know, they jump into your room, right?
You don't even see them coming.
It's
That's
terrible.
why they're ninjas.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to find some good stuff here. Nathan Steele from Biloxi, Mississippi wants to know,
Great name.
will there be, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Will there be gun and sword combos? How will you mix it up with both?
Yes, there will be. We don't have details to reveal today, but that has always been one of the core concepts that we've been working with. Is the idea that we wanted to give the player full freedom to be able to do that. The gun in some of our experiments works very well as just sort of a connector. Oh, there's the heavy. There he is.
The boss, huh?
But yeah, we're gonna give you various.
All right, so tell me about this boss.
So this guy's the victim of bad parenting, I think. He's an example of an early mini boss type character that you will later fight several of, and tougher versions of. He's strong from the front, open from the back. So you got to use your dodge mode to get away from him, but don't stand too close to him for too long, man, because he's got a hammer. He's got a hammer, and he's really handy with it too. He really likes to make yeah, kind of like that. He'll swing around and give you a nice wallop.
But can you parry that blow, or is it going to knock you back and do damage?
You can parry some of the blows. Okay. Some of his blows you can't parry that one.
Right.
But yeah, you can parry a few.
Okay.
But it's just not a good idea to like that. There you go. You can parry that one. But
and is there some sort of dash move to get to his other side quickly?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We use a lock system, so when you dash left or right, you automatically will dash around someone that you're fighting. That automatic lock system, of course, you can configure to a manual system if you want. That lets you do a more, the lock with Z. And then we'll have fully customizable controls as well around, the sensitivity of the Wii mode and all that.
Well, I know we're getting close to the end of this boss battle, so let's see if we can dispatch him before we close out. Oh yeah,
there
he's red now.
We'll show you our finish move. When the arrows point in, that's your finish move. Up and over. A little bit of a hamstring there. Oh, big boy fell down. There's our hero shot.
Well done, Jason. When is Red Steel 2 coming?
Holiday this year.
Holiday. Thank you so much for being here. Red Steel 2 coming soon on the Nintendo Wii. Right now we're going to take a look back to the show floor, take a look at Battlefield Bad Company 2, home of our on the show floor. E3 2009 live coverage continues.